The human body consists of three types of muscle tissue: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac muscle, and each has their own specified function to keep the body alive and functioning. While holding the bones together, muscle tissue is also what maintains and supports your body posture. Muscle tissue is made up of muscle fibers and proteins called actin and myosin. The actin and myosin are the proteins that fuel both involuntary and voluntary movement. Fascia is the thin layer of material that covers the muscle fibers and proteins in the body. Muscle tissues have many abilities, although its main function is contraction and relaxation of the muscles. Muscle tissues also stabilize joints, produce heat, and have the ability to extend. They also have the ability to adduct and abduct, which means to move body parts towards and away from the midline of the body. Muscles make up 40% of your weight and support your body. They are also connected to motor units, which allow the body to use fine motor skills such as writing, or even larger movements like walking, swimming, and so on. Muscle tissues also store and help with the movement of blood, food, and any kind of liquid. Muscle tissues include tendons, which connect muscle to bone, therefore holding the structure of your body together. Muscles can also fatigue from overuse and need a period of time to relax and build new muscle. Muscle tissue also produces body heat, and the blood inside of the muscles controls your body temperature.
One of the three types of muscle in the human body is skeletal muscle, which is responsible for all voluntary actions, though not necessarily conscious ones like standing and breathing. The function of skeletal muscles include practically all movement of the human body, holding bones and organs in the right place, protecting said organs, heating the human body, and storing protein. Skeletal muscles are made up of great amounts of large cells known as muscle fibers. The fibers have multiple nucleuses as they themselves are made up of many smaller precursor cells. The fibers are cylindrical and between 10 and 100 millimeters long. This is what gives the skeletal muscles their striation. Muscle fibers typically attach to one bone, stretch past the joint, and then attach to another bone. The muscles themselves are connected to bones with a connective tissue called tendons, which are very sturdy but lack the elasticity of muscles. By these parts working together, the muscular skeletal system allows for the movement of the body. Skeletal muscles are typically found in pairs all over the body, and they work as a team to allow for motion. The paired muscles can either contract or relax, which means that they can either pull on their respective bones or stop pulling. This, while expending energy in the form of ATP, allows for motion. The nervous system regulates the contractions and relaxations done by the individual muscles. The nervous system sends an electric signal to the nerve endings located at each muscle, which releases a chemical called acetylcholine. This in turn causes a chain of contractions of the muscle fibers, causing the entire muscle to contract.
Smooth is the second type of muscle tissue in the body. Smooth muscle generally forms the supporting tissue of blood vessels and hollow internal organs such as the stomach, intestine, and bladder. It is considered smooth because it does not have the microscopic lines, striations, seen in the other two types. Unlike skeletal and cardiac muscle tissue, smooth muscle is not striated, meaning it lacks sarcomeres, the structural units of myofibril and striated muscles. Smooth muscle fibers are small and tapered, containing myosin and actin. Each fiber has a single centrally located nucleus. The main function of involuntary smooth muscles is contractions, which is particularly important in the digestive system. It allows food to move along the gastrointestinal tract, as well as breaking down food further. It eliminates the indigestible matter and helps move fluid through the body. Other purposes of smooth muscles are circulation, secretion, and excretion. Smooth muscle tissue is located on the walls of internal structures including blood vessels, stomach, intestines, gallbladder, urinary bladder, and the airways to the lungs. Smooth muscle is the weakest of all three types of muscles, but is capable of sustained contraction and does not fatigue easily. Smooth muscle is less dependent on the nervous system and is capable of contracting automatically, spontaneously, and rhythmically.
The cardiac muscle is one of the three types of muscles. It is an involuntary striated muscle. This means that it works automatically without conscious control. It is found in the walls and histological foundation of the heart, especially the myocardium, which is the muscular tissue of the heart. The cardiac muscle is part of the myogenesis process, which is the formation of muscular tissue, particularly during embryonic development. The myocardium is the muscle tissue of the heart and forms a thick middle layer between the outer epicardium layer and the inner endocardium layer. The outer epicardium layer is a double-walled sac containing the heart and roots of great vessels. The inner endocardium layer lines the chambers of the heart. It provides for protection to the valves and heart chambers. Coordinated contractions of the cardiac muscle cells in the heart help pump blood out of the atria and ventricles. The blood is then pumped throughout the body to deliver oxygenated blood. Cardiac cells, unlike other cells, rely on available blood and electrical supply to deliver oxygen, nutrients, and remove waste products such as carbon dioxide. The cells that make up the cardiac muscle are called cardiomyocytes. Each cardiomyocyte contains myofibrils, which are the basic rod-like unit of muscle cells. The basic rod-like units are specialized organelles made up of long chains of sarcomeres, which are the fundamental contractile unit of muscle cells. The reason the cardiac muscle never becomes fatigued, even though it is always working, is because of ATP. Cardiac muscle cells have high mitochondrial density, which produces ATP easily. ATP helps transfer chemical energy within cells for metabolism. Because energy from ATP is always present, the cardiac muscle cell never becomes fatigued. Once energy is needed, it transforms into ADP, which gives off energy in its reaction.